Good evening. Hello, everyone. Happy what remains of your Labor Day. You probably actually will not be seeing this on Labor Day, but it is Labor Day right now. And happy September, because I don't think I've talked to you guys in September. And happy fall. I guess it's not technically fall, but all of the things. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and give you a little update on what I've been working on. First of all, things you've seen. Only thing that you've seen, I think that you would be interested in seeing some more, is my son's blanket. Now, so I finally got around to, where is it? Oh, there it is. Putting a progress keeper, little stitch marker on here. So this is what I've done like in the last, I think it's last Sunday. So this is what I've done. Holding it up, I cannot see through the the stitches, so I don't know how well you can see it, or if you can see the effect. You can see it like this. So if I kind of fold it, so you can see the little squares forming. You see that? So I'm on the third row. I feel like I'm calling this about halfway done. So this is 2.5 squares wide, like at the moment. The whole length of it, which was not, this was originally going to be the width. It's like 7 squares wide. It's like 6 feet. So I've switched it around and decided this is going to be the length of it instead. So this is like going to go this way on the bed, head to toe, or on the whatever he's putting it on, or however he's wrapping it around. And so I figure I'll go about 5 squares wide. So we're at 2.5 now. Originally, I was just going to use just all of the blues and grays that I have laying around, but these two colors here went a lot farther than I thought they would. So like you see, this is like this is the second skein of each, and I had used both of these for some hats and scarves I showed you guys like several months ago, that like little kitty hats and scarves. So they were both like the first skein of each of these I used was like partially used already, but we'll see. This is we'll call it just under 2 skeins, like, and I'm not even done with the second skein and we're already halfway through. So I figured like if I switched it, it just would be not an even transition. You'd have like 3/4 in this design, or probably like 2/5, 3/5 probably in this color, in these colorways, and then like whatever I went with, whatever other gray or blue I picked up would be like another 2/5. It'd just be weird. So I just went and just got 2 more each of these. So I'll just finish the whole thing in this navy and gray. This is navy, I want to say soft navy for Caron Simply Soft, and this is Craft Smart, and I folded it over. I mean, I taped it up to keep the skein from collapsing on itself. I think I covered up the color name, but it's gray. So I'm gonna finish that, but now I can kind of like keep track of how much. So in a week, I've done let's say I've done about 3 inches. Not bad. So that's the main thing that you guys know that I have worked on. For me, so I bought something too. I bought some little mannequin heads, because I always have so much trouble sizing things because of my hair, and things that will fit me probably will not fit normal people. And so I bought 2 mannequin heads because there was a 2-pack on sale on Amazon for like $16, $20. I don't remember. Not too expensive, 20 something dollars. Cute little guys. It's like foam, but like this velvety finish, which actually is kind of makes it sometimes hard to get this stuff on there, but it grips it really well too. So this hat here is this week's Bod Hatapalooza hat, which I don't remember what the name is or what the name of the stitch is. I think the cobblestone stitch. But it's just like it's a very easy like single crochet and then triple crochet, single crochet, triple crochet, so that like when you go down for that single crochet, the height difference makes it into like these little bobbles kind of. So that's cool. There's one spot I know I messed up and like lost my stitch count somewhere. And there's one spot where it's like really obvious, like a little kind of hole, but now, oh, it's right here. See that kind of bigger gap? I did something right there, but it's fine. It's supposed to be slouchy. It's not super slouchy because, as you know, I always, for Bag O' Day, and probably for everything, almost everything, especially hats though, I go down, I've started going down a hook size. Yeah, see how obvious that is right there? So, sorry whoever gets this. It's kind of, you know, if they put it to the back, it's going to be what it is. What was I saying? Yeah, I went down a hook size, so it's not probably as slouchy as it's supposed to be. Probably this guy's head is not, I don't know how people wear hats. Maybe it's supposed to be up a little bit more on the forehead. I like mine like right at my eyebrow. Maybe other people don't wear them there. But anyway, so that's that. That's this one. And then this, I just made another Spider-Man hat, but I did this one for me. So this is Spider-Girl. Those are her colors. So this is for me, so now everyone in our family has one. Except for my husband, but he would never wear it. I have one more that I'd like to make. That is one more character from the movie. I actually started it. This is this one. So this is gonna be Spider-Punk, who's like the punk rock Spider-Man in the movie. He's my favorite character. He was hilarious. He was played by Daniel Kaluuya. It was like that British accent. He was just like this anarchist punk guy. Carried a guitar. He was hilarious, even though he wasn't a huge part of the movie. But he's like got, and this is, I keep doing this where I do the ear flaps so that the front is where the seam is. You see that? It's not so super easy to see, so it's not a big deal. But it should be like to the back. But he's got like black around his eyes. So I'm gonna do this part black, and I'm gonna do these white, and then he's got like spikes, a couple of spikes. So I'm gonna try to figure out. I found a couple of tutorials, but I haven't started them yet, of how to like make spikes. So I'm gonna do like 2 or 3 spikes to go along here in like a gray. So that's just gonna be for fun. If people like them, I'll make some more and maybe put them on Facebook Marketplace or Etsy or something. But if not, whatever. I have enough friends with like kids that'll I'll just give them away, Christmas presents or whatever. But they're fun to make and they take almost no time. I don't have to really look at a pattern anymore or watch a tutorial anymore for them. I can just knock them out. So it's very good instant gratification projects, which is hard to come by. Like everything I do is big and grandiose these days, it feels like. Speaking of big and grandiose, I was so close to casting on another blanket this weekend, like so close. Joann's had this 25% off sale on all their big twists, and the Lion brand was supposed to be 20, at least the signs say 25% off, but it didn't ring up 25% off. Plus there's like another 20% coupon on the app, plus there's a 60% off of a regular priced item on the app. And so I got a ton of yarn, and I paid like $89 or $87, and it shows you like how much you save. I saved like $50, so it was good. But what I got was, I'll show you actually. I won't show you everything, but because I went back today and got one more for good measure, which this was the last one. So this Big Twist Ombre, I got a bunch of these, right? And then I got the solid colors that go with it. So you have like this orange, kind of this yellow, this sunshiny yellow, peachy orange, this very pale yellow. So I got as many of like the corresponding solid colors as I could. This is called, what are you called? Sunrise Ombre, which I think is a great name. It looks like very much like a sunrise or a sunset, some sun event. And so I'm gonna do a blanket, most likely a 10-stitch blanket, where like this is going to be the alternating rows. So I'll do like, I think what I have pictured is either a circular 10-stitch blanket, which I've never done, or a traditional one, like, or a rectangular one. Because usually it's generally a square. The one I did before was a square, but you can make your starting panel a little bit longer than it is wide and make it a rectangle instead. I don't know if I'll do a rectangle or a circle, but what I have envisioned is like every round of the 10 stitch blanket, I'll do this. I'm going to start with this in the center and then do one of these corresponding colors, and then do a row of this, and then do one of these corresponding colors, etc., radiating out. That's what's pictured in my head. Now, I was so close to casting that on today, but I was like, no, let me wait, because I still have that pink blanket I want to do. And I have another blanket I would like to do. I want to do another corner to corner, not my scrappy one, which I think this is it right here. Just what it go out. This, there we go. That's it there. I'm still working on dismantling my my old temperature blanket. I'm about halfway through. I guess I'll go grab that for you in a second. So not that one. So once I get done like dismantling that and incorporating that into the scrap blanket, that's just gonna grow little by little as I get scraps. It's not gonna be anything that's done anytime soon. But I have like 17, I think 17 or 19, sorry, my foot was itching, skeins of Red Heart Hygge yarn that I got from Ollie's a couple of years ago, probably, maybe a year ago. Yeah, like a year ago. It's in this navy color, or like this kind of, almost this blue. It's kind of country blue. It's a blue. That I think I want to make that also into a corner to corner blanket and give it to my friends who have just bought a townhouse not far from me, as a housewarming gift. And I think they're moving in anytime now, any day now, probably. I know they were looking at September, because that's when their lease ends on their apartment. But they're also kind of taking things slow. So I don't think there's any real rush, and it's still summertime here in Atlanta, so there's no real rush to getting it, but I would like to do that, and that'll clear up like 17. I'm gonna just use them all up. 17. It's a bunch. I remember Crystal from Conically Crocheting did the exact same thing with the exact same yarn, and it was a really pretty blanket. She said it came out really heavy, and you know, Hygge yarn is like really snuggly. I'm a little worried about it being like so fuzzy, not even fuzzy, what is it? It's like feathery almost, right? Like being able to see the stitches, especially with corner to corner, because you have to do the chain of 6, and it's, you know, so I'm a little worried that that's going to be fiddly, but it won't be anything too unwieldy. I think it'll be fine. The other big thing is I got my yarn in to finish my sleeve. So this is the sleeve I showed you guys last week that I finished. And then this is the sleeve that I got stopped at. Can you guys see the issue? I can. I'm sure you can too, but I know my eye's drawn to it. So I got caught up in a dye lot, in a mismatched dye lot. So this is the original that matches with this, and this is the dye lot I've had. This here is the last little scrap I found that I was trying to finish this with. I didn't realize that this one here was so different. I think this is the color that, this is probably, this scrap is either like from either the front or the back of the sweater, or there's a point where I had to get one more ball. So I don't know if this is like the ball that I started with, like the color, the dye lot I started with, or I think it is, because I think this would have been like the one that I bought to finish up the back. So I'm guessing that most of the sweater is in this version of Country Blue, and then probably part of the back and the sleeves are in this version. And then I didn't really notice this difference though when I first put this on last week. It wasn't until I added this that I was like, oh, that is very different. Like as soon as I took it out of the bag, I was like, that's very different. I almost was like, did I get the wrong color? But I'm very sure this was Country Blue. And I looked to see if there was other colors, like maybe it went by a different name, but there was nothing else. I was like, no, that's the color. I remember that name, I think. Or whatever it was. It's the same name. It just is such a different dye lot. So there's 3 different versions of it. I know this one was the same because I still had the yarn bands when I bought this one. So you can see just that drastic change there. Now this one's very different, but whatever. It's just like a few inches on the arm. It is what it is. It's now a design element. No one can prove that I didn't do it on purpose. So other than that, it's good news. Like I lined them up. They line up pretty well. Not that it matters that much because they're on different sides of his arm, obviously. But so far they line up pretty well. I do have to make sure when I get down to here that I, you know, have the right number of inches before I, you know, when I switch to this color here. I think it's at about 23 inches, and then I'll do, you know, an inch or so in this blue. So we're getting there. We're back to boring stockinette, so it's just going to be a matter of powering through like it was this last time. I don't know if I'll have it in me to power through this week, but I will do it. The other thing that I was very close to, do I have it here or did I leave it over there? I left it over there. Hold on. Let's grab this. All right. So while I was up, I went ahead and grabbed a little scrap blanket. Here is where we're at now. I don't remember where we were at when I showed it to you last, but here is where we're at now. Very pretty. We're gonna move soon from the spring colors, the late winter, early spring colors here. This is what winter looks like in Atlanta if you're going by temperatures. I think I did my temperatures, it wasn't 10s, it was maybe 8s, because I didn't go 0 to 100 because we don't get to 0. I did maybe 30. This is in Fahrenheit. I can never remember what we use. I know we use the one that goes 0. We use the one that goes 30 to 120 from freezing to boiling. No, Celsius. Okay, I took physics. Celsius is 0 to 100. So we use Fahrenheit. Which goes very nicely from, no, it's gotta be the other way. All right, 0 is freezing here. Yeah. I can never remember because I live in Georgia where we don't freeze. I'm like, I don't even know what freezing is anymore, but I think it's 30 here. I don't know. Sorry. I should be smarter than this. Anyway, but our temperatures generally go from, yeah, it's like the coldest will be like 30. Will be like, yeah, 30s on a very cold day, maybe 20s. And then we can get over 100 on like very hot humid days. So I did from like everything, the coldest I did, which probably is this dark purple here, is like below 30. And then I want to say this was my hottest color. I don't remember. We got one day of it, like probably in April or May. I don't know if this was the hottest. I think it was, but this would have been like over 80 probably. I think that's what my range was, and everything else was like in increments of 8. So these are the winter months. So this is like probably from 30 to, or maybe from 20 to 40, I would guess. So we're gonna move into those colors at some point soon. I don't know how much I'll work on this week, because it should go fast, you would think, but it's actually more tedious than it should be, or slower than it should be. But I like it. It's cool. And then this white was like my separation of months. Anyway, so that's coming along. But the other thing that I would have cast on tonight, but I got thwarted, was I told you guys I want to make a sock yarn hat for my husband. And I wanted to do either a Musselburgh hat or some kind of double layer beanie. Not necessarily Musselburgh. I thought they were all called Musselburgh, but I think Musselburgh is this one specific design. So it's going to be a double layer beanie. I don't think I'm going to follow a pattern. I'm just going to kind of wing it. I did look up how to do a pinhole cast on where you cast, so that's how you do a top down hat. There's a couple ways, but this is a pinhole cast on, where you start at the top, much like with crochet, with almost like you knit into a ring, say cast on 8, and then you do very similar increases where you first increase every stitch and every other stitch and every third stitch, etc. You can do that. Yeah, so I think that is what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'll do, because I want to do a 4-point increase. So I'm going to have to figure out exactly the math. But this is going to be one side of it, which I think usually with hats, like very variegated yarns like this, like small stripes like this, tend to kind of do a cool spiral, almost tiger stripe looking pattern. So I think this is going to look good. And then the other side will be solid. And I would have cast this on tonight and kind of started playing with it. But I opened up, I grabbed my Knitter's Pride Ginger set because this calls for a US 2 needles. So I went and grabbed my gingers. Gingers start at 3. So there goes that. And then I looked up my mindful set. I was like, well, first I was like, okay, well, I don't have 3. I don't have 2s. I only have 3. So I went to go buy some on Amazon. But I was like, then I looked up the specs on the mindful set. And I was like, oh, and it has a 2. It starts at 2. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just grab my mindful. I could not find them anywhere. I have looked everywhere for those things. All over my house. I snuck into my bedroom. My husband's sleeping with the flashlight on my phone. Tried to dig around in there without making too much noise. Couldn't find it there. I couldn't find it anywhere. It's got to be here somewhere. I've dug through like my piles of yarn that I have sitting next to me in bags and stuff. I can't find it. And I know I've seen it recently. It's somewhere really obvious that I just now cannot find. So I couldn't cast it on, but I was like, so I went ahead and ordered, I was trying to order an interchangeable set, but I couldn't find one on Amazon. So I ordered a fixed set, 24 inch. And I don't like DPNs. Actually, I've never even used DPNs for what they're supposed to be used for, like little tiny, DPNs are double pointed needles for those that don't know. It's a knitting needle that has a point on both ends. And you use it people use them for socks. People use them for hats when the crown of the hat is very small and you can't use a regular circular needles. People use them for, those are the main 2 purposes. I have used them for things where you have to go back and forth. You have to slide the stitches back over and maybe sometimes in 2 color knitting. You might have to knit with 1 color and then knit with another color. They're also good for 10-stitch blankets. So I've never actually used them for like small circumference knitting. It just looks daunting. I'm sure it's not that hard, but it just was like, I don't want to deal with 4 points at any time, or 4 different needles. That's like 8 points. So I'm gonna try my best to just do this magic loop. So magic loop with circular needles. So I bought a pair of 24 inch, or a set of 24 inch fixed, so not interchangeable, number 2 needles. So then I decided, probably a good thing because I want to practice before I do my husband's things. So I have this, well, I have a bunch of these. This is the only color I have of this one, but I have a lot of Touch of Alpacas. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do it, at least a top down hat, if not a double layer hat. Sorry about that, I had to talk to my son real quick. Where was I? Something about this. I think I might cast this on tonight, maybe. At least try to start and see how I can figure out the increases. It's already late. It's 10. So maybe I'll spend an hour on this just to see how I like it. And then by the time my stuff gets here, I'll do this one. So this will be interesting. Make this hat for my husband. He will probably never wear it. He hates being hot, but it's just size 1 yarn. So I would think even as a double layer and it's wool, hopefully it won't be too hot. Anyway, that is all I got going on. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I will, if you talk, you're going to be in the video. Good night, I love you. I will talk to you guys later. I will show you guys what's going on probably later this week or next Sunday. Sundays always seem like be a good time to record because less going on. Fridays, weekends. But anyway, hope you guys have a great week. If I don't talk to you before then, happy knitting, happy crocheting, and awkward sign off. Bye-bye.